All right, so you've got this awesome idea, right? And you're thinking this needs to be on the web. Well, you've come to the perfect spot. We are going to walk through the entire process of building your own digital home, from, buying the land all the way to hanging pictures on the wall. Let's get started.
So you've got the vision, you've got the passion, maybe you've even written all the content, but then you hit that technical side and it just feels like this giant brick wall, right? Where do you even start? Don't worry, we're going to answer that exact question and lay out the whole blueprint step by step. Okay, first things first, every single house needs a piece of land to sit on. It just has to. And believe it or not, your website is no different. For it to even exist, it needs its own little plot in the huge, sprawling landscape of the internet. And that digital real estate, that's what we call web hosting.
So, what does that actually mean? Well, web hosting is basically a service that stores all your website's files. We're talking the text, the images, all the code, on this super powerful computer called a server that's always on. Then, when someone types in your address, that server delivers your site right to their browser. It is literally the foundation that your entire digital home is built on. Without it, you've got nothing.
Okay, so you need to buy some land. But what kind of property are you looking for? Do you need a sprawling estate? Or are you just starting out and need like a starter apartment? Just like with actual real estate, you've got options, and it all depends on your budget and what you need. And this is where that property analogy really helps make sense of it all. So think of shared hosting as renting an apartment. It's cheap, it's easy, but you're sharing resources with your neighbors. Then you have a VPS, which is a virtual private server. That's kind of like a townhouse. You get more space, a little more control. A dedicated server, that's your own private house. You get all the power, but it comes with a higher price tag. And free hosting? Well, that's basically couch surfing. It'll work in a pinch for a hobby project, but you're probably going to have to live with someone else's ads on your site. Let's zoom in on the two most common choices here. With the apartment, that's shared hosting. You're basically splitting the utility bills with everyone else in the building. So if your neighbor decides to throw a massive party, your lights might dim. In website terms, a traffic surge on their site could slow yours down. But with the private house, dedicated hosting, all the power is yours and yours alone. Yeah, it costs more, but for a really popular site, that performance and control is absolutely essential. No noisy neighbors. Awesome, you've got your land. But how are people going to find you? You need an address. And in the digital world, that's your domain name. It's the unique street name that leads visitors right to your virtual front door. Now, registering your domain is actually a pretty straightforward process. First, you choose a great, memorable name. Step 2, you check if it's even available. Then you'll register your contact info in this public directory called the Whois database. And after that, you pay the annual fee. Now, this last step is critical. You have to point your new address to your land. You do this by changing a little setting called the A record. Just think of it like filling out a change of address form with the internet's post office. That way, everyone knows where to find your new home. Okay, you have the land, you have the address. Guess what? It's moving day. It is time to get all of your website stuff, your text, your images, all that code from your computer into its brand new digital home on the server. So how do you actually move all your stuff in? Well, you use a digital moving truck called FTP, which stands for File Transfer Protocol. It's pretty much the standard tool for hauling all your website's contents from your computer to their new home on that server. And you know what? Using FTP is surprisingly simple. Most FTP software just shows you two windows. On one side, you see all the files on your computer, and on the other side, you see the empty folders on your web server. And all you have to do is drag your files from your computer and drop them right onto the server. That's it. You're moved in. Easy, right? But, and this is a big but, there's a really critical security detail here. Regular old FTP is like sending your house keys in a see-through envelope. Your login info is just out there. That's why today we always use SFTP. That S stands for secure. It encrypts everything, your username, your password, all your files, making sure your move-in day is totally private and protected. Don't skip this part. So your website is live, hooray! But now, how do you add a new blog post or maybe change a photo? You're not going to want to fire up FTP for every tiny little update. This is where your interior design and maintenance toolkit comes into play. And this toolkit is known as a CMS, or a content management system. Basically, it's software that gives you this really user-friendly dashboard to manage your entire site with zero coding required. You can write articles, upload photos, and even rearrange the layout with pre-built templates.
It's how you arrange all the furniture in your new digital home.
You've almost definitely heard of the big ones, right? We're talking about WordPress, Drupal, and Joomla. These platforms are incredibly powerful. I mean, WordPress alone powers something like 40% of the entire internet. That's insane. They give creators like you these amazing tools to build and manage incredible sites without ever having to touch a single line of code.
And of course, you want your home to have amazing curb appeal, right? You want it to look good from the street. In the digital world, we call that responsive design. All it means is that your website automatically adjusts itself to look perfect on any device, from a giant desktop monitor all the way down to a tiny smartphone. It's what makes your digital home look beautiful and welcoming to every single person who stops by, no matter how they got there. So there you have it. You've got the land, the address, the moving truck, and the tools for all your interior design. All the pieces are in place. Your digital home is officially ready for you to make it your own. So, the only question left is, what are you going to build?